So here we go again. What's the first thing we do? I want, I think, I feel. No. What we just talked about is what does the body need? When the people give the body what the body needs, they found that it all worked, correct? So this is the proof right here. The people that we work with, they're the living proof. They've seen this work time in and time out. Changing your timing on your eating, does it make a difference on your weight loss? Dorothy, does it make a difference if we just so much as eat the same vegetables every day and the body acclimates to it? We actually have to change the vegetables every couple days. If you eat the same meals at the same time, the body will adapt. It's going to survive. We have a survival mechanism built into us, or we would all be gone much sooner than we would ever believe. The body has its own survival mechanism. So what's missing is working knowledge. Working knowledge. It's not the knowledge of, I need to cut calories. It's I need to cut calories and balance my blood sugar level. I need to cut calories, balance my blood sugar level, yet get enough repair materials to build the muscle that I need to keep my metabolism. I must have enough of the materials to keep my bones dense so that I don't become osteoporotic. Pete Shepley's been with me for 24 years. He owns the largest archery company in the world. Now Pete is a rodeo fan, and he gets out and he team ropes. He fell off a horse and snapped his upper arm while he had just come back from Africa on a hunt. Pete, at 64 years old, you need to understand, shoots a 95-pound bow. Most men are lucky to shoot an 80-pound bow or a 75-pound bow. At 64, Pete shoots a 95-pound bow. He fell off his horse, snapped his upper arm bone. They operated on him and tried to put a steel rod down the length of his arm. The doctor said to him, Pete, what do you do? He said, why? He said, well, we were in your shoulder. I've never seen the density of connective tissue and muscle like that. But when we went to put the bone together and we tried to put a rod down your arm, a man your size, we always use an 11 or a 10 millimeter steel rod. Even in a young 20-year-old man your size. We couldn't use an 11, we couldn't use a 10, we couldn't use a 9, we couldn't use an 8. We had to go all the way down to a 7 because we've never seen such dense bones and such muscle. Not even on a 20-year-old. Pete's been working with me for 25 years. He hates me. I make him eat all kinds of minerals. I make him eat all kinds of food. People say, why does he stay with you for 25 years? Aren't you making people dependent? No. Pete tells people, listen, Bert's just so irascible and so uncontrollable and so passionate that he's going to tell me what I need to hear whether I like it or not. He's just going to care about me more than I care about myself. And that's why I hire Bert. Because I can run a business, I'm a team roper, I'm an aerobatic competitor, I'm also an ultimate hunter, I'm an engineer, a business owner, a team roper. I can't be controlled unless somebody really knows what they're doing. Results are proof, just like my website. Pete comes to me because for 25 years he's gotten results. We just had another person come back, Don Medoff. It's now 27 years. We worked 21 years together nonstop. He's back again. He said, nobody compares. When you came back from Idaho, I had to come back. You know, results are proof. The things that I say and do here tonight, I'm trying to tell you about, there are people sitting here who will verify what I do. I'm not telling you these things off the top of my head. They've experienced them. Jamie had a client who she talked about last week who had the grand rounds done at the University Hospital because she had a skin condition that they were giving her a drug for that was killing her. And that went on for a period of time, right?
Mm-hmm. Years.
And how long was it, Jamie, till she had those symptoms gone?
Oh, weeks.
Weeks.
2 weeks at the most.
2 weeks at the most, she says. I say it was more like 3. What did we do? We changed her diet and put her on supplements. And all these grand rounds couldn't figure it out because they were looking for the cure. The lie cure, the fraud, the great fitness and health fraud. What I gave her was fact. Basic, common logic. You see, the results I get are because of one thing. First, I have to have thinking clients. 2, I have to give them a logical approach. 3, I've got to follow through on their follow through. Results happen. If they don't follow through, nothing happens. Jean is one of the first persons here with her husband's benefits and her benefits. She'll tell you. She comes in here and she says to me, I'm feeling like this because I didn't do this. Jamie will say to me, oh, I thought that was a cup before cooking, not after cooking. She made a mistake, right, Jamie? Yeah. And I had said to Jamie, she goes, look, you'd think I'd get it by now. I'm a doctor. And I said, Jamie, how many years have you been doing this? Wrong. You've only been here how long? No. We need to change your habits. So let's talk about some things here. We need this balance and the synergy to take place. So we're affected by stress levels, our environment, our emotion, our physical stresses, and our psychological stresses. And then on the food side, we've got to worry about the right preparation. If things have been refined, you know, when they tell you something's whole wheat, it should be H-O-L-E wheat. Wheat you throw in a hole, because they've usually taken the germ out of it. That's the sperm or the egg out of the wheat. You might as well get rid of it. You know, when you get pasteurized food, pasteurized means it's been heated to 300 degrees several times. What do you think's left in it after 300 degrees? The more you heat it, the more you delete it. The more you shouldn't eat it. It's fortified. Fortified. That should be go to the fort to be fried. Okay? Because there's no fortifying the way most of it's done. The fortifying that they're talking about is with certain types of chemical types of nutrients that actually in the body are not assimilated or don't work at what's called the ionic or the cellular level. And there's a saying that I like to use. Feed wild to the child. Feed wild to the child. The more wild, the more natural, the more raw you can feed something, the better it is. Now, I don't mean raw that's not been handled properly. Don't misunderstand me. But you know, people have pets, and we've helped their pets, and I've used this line so many times. I tell people, do you have trouble with your pet's health? Yeah, sometimes. What should I feed them? Do you know about that? Sure. First of all, are you feeding them the very best dried food you can get? Yes. Are you feeding them the very best canned food you can get? Yes. I said, well, that's a good start, because every time I'm out hunting and I find a coyote, he's always down behind the bush cooking a rabbit before he eats it. Not. And they keep living. When I went to Vietnam and I worked with indigenous people there, and I ate raw foods, foods that weren't supposed to be, quote, handled right. How did those people live so many generations? How could they work so hard? How could they propagate so well? Takes a little thinking. Let's talk about, you know, health is performance. Health is performance. The better degree of performance you have, usually the better degree of health you have. You may start exercising without proper nutrition, and you may see short-term physical improvements on the exterior, but you're more than likely guaranteed to produce debilitating results on the interior. And now I want to get down to one that's really the big one, obesity. Obesity is a choice. It is not a problem. It is a choice. But we have learned not to think logically. We cannot listen to the normal run of things. We have to stop, break that thought pattern, and realize that if we can put a man on the moon, we can check the DNA and see who sneezed on a particular table. We can take an organ out of one person and put it in another. And surely there is somewhere out there to find the physiological facts on how a person's body works. And observation will tell us what's right. Isn't it funny how animals know how to find the right mineral, know how to find the right nutrient? Because they're still sense-able, not senseless. They say it's sense-I-B-L-E. No, it's sense-A-B-L-E, sense-able. I'm not going to be senseless. I like my eyes, my ears, my nose, my mouth, all of it, and my touch all working. I try to listen, I try to see, I try to watch. You know, it's emotion when people get out of control. Chemical addictions start with a chemical imbalance in the system. People usually have an emotion that bothers them. They'll start to eat a certain way. Then that fix isn't big enough anymore. They look for a bigger sensation, which is a type of drug or alcohol. That then makes the chemical imbalance even worse. And then they take these poor individuals and they dry them out and say, now listen to the therapy. And their body is jonesing so hard from the chemical imbalance, and they expect this person to hear them while they're standing there shaking so hard. Well, let me take you and put you in the back of a pickup truck and run you down a dirt road at about 90, okay, and see what you can listen to while I'm talking to you. That's literally what's going on with a person. The other night, I had a person come to me and said, do you think that this sugar really affects our kids like that? Again, let me give you an example. Your child is about 50 pounds, 60 pounds. You're about 200. Here, drink these 2 Monster energy drinks that are super caffeinated. Right now at 7 o'clock, you and your wife. They called me the next morning at 5 o'clock. Where are we? They were still up all night. That day they went to work. They came home. They couldn't hardly crawl. They called me up and they go, so that's what my child feels like? I said, yeah, but it happens every hour up and down. I go, he's only 1/4 the size of you. What do you think that's like to him? A little bit affects them more. And I said, he's new. You're old. You're worn out. He's got a new machine. It's real sensitive. You know, wow, I never thought of that. We've got to stop, look, think. Okay? Get the logic in it. The choices. Look at the ways people deal with things. Bulimia, anorexia. That's an ultimate control. But then there's other things. There's starvation diets. That doesn't work. You've got to have the blood sugar balance. There are fad diets. Yes, they're cutting out some nutrients, something in the body that's stopping your body to absorb. There's blockers, carb blockers, fat blockers. They're using a brain blocker and don't even know it because they aren't thinking right. And then there's exercise. You can't exercise enough in 1 week to burn off 2 large bad meals. Cardiovascular exercise is the most inefficient way to burn fat, and we'll go into that at the next lecture. At the next lecture, I'm going to cover exercise. It's going to be how to exorcise your exercise. But then there's the worst of all. You think that when it comes to bad diets, exercising, fad diets, stimulants, here's the worst. This is gross negligence that I'm about to say. And someone who would perform this is grossly negligent. And that is surgical removal of body fat in any way. I am totally, totally against that. And I don't care what the reason is. First of all, how are you going to sustain it? By stapling your stomach so you can't get all your nutrients in? Not absorbing all your protein that you might need? Check and see how many people from gastric bypass are alive 8 years later. Try to find it. I defy you. Try it. Try the ones that have had stomach stapling and see how successful they are. Here's the other one, liposuction. They might as well put the tube in the brain because they might as well get the last of whatever's in there because, you know, sucking that fat off is great. While they're sucking it off, that person's still sucking it in. Remember, input, output, hello? Let's get a balance here. Is that the balance? I'll just go every 6 months and have them suck some more off of me till you look like a piece of giant corduroy, I guess. Gastric bypass, stomach stapling, surgery, please. You are doomed. You are condemned to do the same thing over and over. your health is going to be no better. There was an article in the paper where a woman was begging for help to get gastric bypass so she could get her heart replaced after she lost enough weight. Now help me with this one. I'm having a very hard time to understand this. I know I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but I try to keep the electricity on, okay? Let's try this one. She has a bad heart. How do you get diseased? She had a bad heart. Could it be her bad diet? She's 180 pounds overweight. I wonder why her heart is bad. She has to lose 100 pounds before they'll give her another person's heart. She wants someone to give her gastric bypass so that she can get another heart. Now wait, let me see. Let's take somebody's good heart and give it to someone who couldn't control their diet and ruin their heart. But before we do that, let's give them a gastric bypass so they don't know how to take care of that heart or their body either. Now I'm sorry, that's just on the end of it right there. That's where the health, where in the health fitness is gone. That's where in the health nutrition is gone. That's where in the health exercise is gone. That's where in the health is that coming from. There is no common sense there. And you know what? Listen to her justify it. Oh, listen to the drama. You don't understand. You don't understand, they say to me. I tell them, really? And I love it when people say, I listen to my body. I always like to ask them, why is it so obvious you don't understand the language? You know? You know, if you are what you eat, I ask those people, what have you become? I have people come to me and they go, well, can't I have a couple bagels? I said, sure, don't bother to eat them. Just hold your pantyhose out and throw it in there because it's going to look the same tomorrow anyway. You don't need to eat it. Remember, food either goes on you, in you, and hopefully through you, but you want a positive effect. So when you sit down to eat, don't suffer the cure. Don't wait for the cure. Follow what I'm going to try to leave with you right now. Look at your food as something that's going to do something for you, or it's going to do something to you. You ever seen a fat vegetable? Try eating too many. Watch how much weight you lose. I'm not talking beans, peas, rice, corn, and potatoes. I'm talking broccoli, cauliflower. Try eating too much. Try eating too much fish that's not fried, that's steamed or poached. Try eating fruit whole instead of processed into juice that's been pasteurized. And show me one animal on this great planet, on God's green earth, that bothers to run another animal down and drink its milk after puberty. I have yet to find that animal. And I've never seen a baby that looked like a cow, so what are we feeding babies cow's milk? Does your baby have that much hair and hide on it? Does it walk on all fours? Does it have a face like that? Well, maybe it does, but I mean, please. You know, think about what you're looking at here. Think about the likeness. Think about the genetic likeness to you. Yeah, we may both be mammals, but we're different types of mammals. Think about this. Everything I eat is going to do something for me or against me. And when you eat something, this is the way I started out. When I was a child, my dad fed all the animals on the farm herbs and minerals to get them well. And he went to the doctor and died at 42 years old from high blood pressure. I said before that, I was only 8, 9 years old, and I was having eating disorders. I was having cravings. I would go up to the house and I would eat all the bacon. I would go down to the barn and I'd eat handfuls of mineral salt. I'd eat all the milk bones. I mean, the dog and I were toe to toe. And he won a lot of the times, okay? But when I could give him the milk bone, by the time I got out the back door, what my mom didn't realize for a long time was I had half it and the dog had half. Literally, I'm not kidding you. And isn't it funny that as a child I craved seafood? I was very much trace mineral deficient. So, this being thought about, think about this. This is what I learned to do. I said, okay, vegetables. These make me thinner. I take in some calories. And it takes so much work to get that fiber all the way through my system, and it scrapes my digestive tract and cleans it and helps me to eliminate. Man, I love these vegetables because they give me the best carbohydrate lift. It makes me leaner. It doesn't let me put on that fat. I can eat all of these vegetables I want. Man, there's 6 or 8 different kinds. I love these large salads. I eat fish. I eat it poached. I don't have to fry it. I put it in a little water with some lemon and lime juice. I put a little, maybe oregano in there, or thyme, or whatever I want with my fish, and I use a water poach. And it gets all the fat out of it, and it's just great. You can't hardly eat too much fish and vegetables. And when it comes to grains, they're a heavier, denser food. Why not eat those early in the day, when your metabolism's the strongest, when you're breaking the fast? And why not have fruits that are whole instead of concentrated into a juice and been heated? What's wrong with having a grapefruit as opposed to orange juice? A whole grapefruit is going to keep you lean. Kiwis, not high in calories but very high in enzymes. Fresh berries. Think of all the little seeds. Those are all future lives of a plant. All the nutrients, the dense nutrients they have. And they're low in calories. Fish is low in calories, high in protein. Eat your vegetables more often. Get that good carbohydrate lift throughout the day. What about V8 juice instead of orange juice? What about fish instead of fried steak? What about broccoli instead of potatoes? Here's one. Take your baked potato and it'll raise a diabetic's blood sugar level faster than a boiled potato. Take a piece of toast and heat it, and you gain 10 extra calories and lose the nutrients because you've made it with simpler sugar. So, the more raw you eat, the more natural you eat, the more you get. Eat often. Eat right. Is this going to do something for me or against me? All it is that moment of stopping and make a choice. You have all the power in a choice. The same thing that gets people fat can get them thin. When people come to me, we exercise your brain, your body receives the benefit. That's where I'm different. People come to us because we exercise your brain, your body receives the benefits. The biggest thing that anyone on my program will tell you is that I do everything that's supposedly weird or wrong, but it works. It's called working knowledge. Does it work, Jamie? Almost 50 pounds down. How much are you down now, Dorothy? Richard's down like what, 70, 80 pounds now?
More than 40.
Rosie, my housekeeper, is down 192 pounds. Never gone back up. You know? It's what you want to do. So from now on, just think of your food as this. I'm running, and if I keep pushing myself, I'm wearing myself out. You know, it's too late down the road. What you do today is today for the rest of your life. What you do tomorrow is tomorrow for the rest of your life. If you keep putting today off, you'll never get to tomorrow the way you want to. Get to tomorrow in good shape. Get to tomorrow feeling well. Remember, when I sit down to eat, what is it? This is going to do something to me. Is it positive or negative? Instead of a starch, have vegetables. Instead of meat, have fish. Instead of fried, have steamed. Instead of baked, have steamed or raw or poached. Heat it less, eat more raw, eat more volume of vegetables, eat better foods, get supplements. If you were to take a mineral at night, a package of Emergen-C, which is an electrolyte, and 16 to 18 ounces of water, you would not believe how you'd start to feel just on that. Most people can't go to sleep at night because they've had too many stimulants, either nicotine or caffeine, and they've used up all the hypertensiveness in the muscle, all the hyperflexation, and all their minerals are depleted, their electrolytes are depleted, and when they try to lay down and sleep, the muscle can't relax because it has nothing to repair with. How many people here have started to have creepy crawlies, tossy turnies at night, as I call them? I've had you take extra minerals and slow it down. Right? You all know this. I predict it. Don't we predict this, and you tell us and we try it and it works. Okay, I guess that's, any questions? Questions and answers. Who has something here that they'd like to know? Or something that I might have stated that they didn't quite understand? Whoa, I can't have been that good. That's impossible. Yes?
So, if one were to eat chocolate, for example, when's the best time?
Well, here's the thing. Now, let's be real. Let's be real here. Look, I'm going to have coffee once in a while. When am I going to have coffee? First of all, is it my exception or is it the rule? Now, it's the exception. So I know that that's going to work on my blood sugar and my muscles and make my muscles work. So I'm going to have had some protein, and then I might use that as a snack in between my meals. And I might have had a little snack of protein or something, and then as an after effect have that chocolate to use for my carbohydrate lift. And I would moderate it. You know, if you'll take most foods, like my favorite thing is a creme brulee. I mean, I will hurt you badly and all your family for a creme brulee. Okay? So when I go out and I get a creme brulee, I'm known for one thing. I get my pot of coffee, my creme brulee, and I've usually just eaten a good protein meal. I take the spoon and I break off the top of that creme brulee, a little bite at a time, and I take the spoon and I rub the back of it in the creme brulee. And then I go like this. And I savor it. Okay? And then I take a little sip of coffee. And then I take another little bit. And I take about an hour to eat that creme brulee. Because I'm not going to do it that often. You know, you'll be surprised if you'll take and eat well, and take something, and take the time to taste it, to chew it, to melt it, to savor it. Let me give everybody an idea for Thanksgiving. Here you go. You want to get through Thanksgiving and not gain weight? Try this. Don't eat a starchy breakfast. Have eaten some breakfast. Have some eggs. Have some V8. Have a mid-morning snack. When it comes to lunch, limit your starches to 1.5 cups. That's including cranberry. 1.5 cups measured. Maybe 1/2 cup of potato, 1/2 cup of dressing, 1/2 cup of cranberry, and then you can have 1/4 to 1/3 cup of gravy.
How about pie?
No, wait. Have 10 ounces, have 6 to 10 ounces of your turkey. Half that if it's ham, because ham is so bad. That is very bad. Okay? Have your turkey. Now have all the vegetables you want that are green beans, salads, and all the rest. Then wait an hour and a half after dinner to have your pie. Don't stack it on top of all the other calories. And when you have your pie, have a little caffeine with it to get your blood sugar level up and work your muscles a little bit to help bring that down. Now, if you're going to have a drink, have it before the dinner. About an hour before, maybe with a little bit of shrimp cocktail. Maybe a couple of little of sliced meat roll-ups, and not the sausage type. Maybe a little bit of protein or something. Maybe a deviled egg or two, and have your cocktail to keep your blood sugar up, because alcohol goes directly on as fat.
Are deviled eggs?
Deviled eggs, that's exactly what I'm talking. Yeah, have 1 or 2 halves of that along with your cocktail to keep the blood sugar level up. Then go into your meal, moderate your starches, have a little bit of it. Then don't go in there at midnight and snack on another sandwich and another cup of it. Here, what you do today can end up adding to tomorrow. It's the amount of stored glycogen in your body that makes the difference on how fast you store fat. It's what is my exception and what is my rule. And it's always better to eat something rather than nothing. Yes, anything, any other questions? Yes.
You mentioned the creepy crawly, fidget budgety.
Yes,
horrible
when
thing.
you're trying to sleep.
Yes, does that encompass restless legs syndrome?
Absolutely, especially if you're on certain types of drugs. Absolutely. The worst thing you can be on is a statin. Okay? a cholesterol blocker, because that can all be handled naturally. Diet is very easily handled. That is absolutely garbage as far as I'm concerned. There are ways to handle that. You can thin the blood through lots of natural agents. But yes, when you have that creepy, crawly, moving around, restless leg syndrome, it is almost always, insomnia is caused by lack of mineral absorption. Even if you were getting the minerals, your body can absorb. See, most people will tell you need to be in an alkaline condition as far as your acid pH balance. Well, if we're made out of more minerals and vitamins, can you break down minerals if you're alkaline already and that's an alkaline base? No. But if you use a little bit of vinegar, it creates your system to be what? Acid. You break down your foods. Little fresh lemons in the water all the time or on your vegetables, great. Unpasteurized apple cider vinegar. You don't keep it in the refrigerator. Yes?
Okay. I take vinegar every day, like you tell me. When is the best time to take that vinegar?
When I prescribe it. First thing in the morning.
Okay, so I am doing.
You should take 2 teaspoons of unpasteurized apple cider vinegar in 4 ounces of water the first thing upon arising.
Okay, and I take,
And you can use some of that with your lunch and dinner also on your vegetables, yes.
okay, and then Swedish bitter at night.
No, Swedish bitters can be taken 10 minutes after that or in the evening. Swedish bitters, by nature works, it's got the 11 Judaic herbs in it that were to be eaten with the sacrificial lamb and other things. Those herbs are very, very powerful. That's used in so many cures. It is a restorative to the digestive tract, it is a cleanser for the liver, the kidney, the pancreas. Swedish bitters is used in a lot of cancer treatments in the natural arena. It is also, Swedish bitters is great for any type of cut. It's brought back hearing in ears. We remove scars with it all the time. It's a cure for hemorrhoids. It's a cure for sinus infections. It's a cure for leaky gut syndrome. What can I say? It is a nutrient. It is one of the things we use to help get the stomach lining fixed. That's why I advise 2 teaspoons of Swedish bitters in water every day, twice a day. Yes, another question. Any other question? Any particular points that anybody found interesting tonight that they want anything else expounded on? Okay, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have another one of these sessions. Y'all are welcome to come, just RSVP it. It'll be on exercise. Where is the health and exercise? And I'm going to really get into just how big these effects are that most people have not seen. Just how much it can affect people. I've had a new routine that I've been doing with some people where you only do 5 exercises and there's very few reps, and it's quite powerful, like I kind of did on your legs. Richard can tell you that we've seen that literally 3 exercises, 2 upper body and 1 lower body, is more than a person can handle, and it takes a heart rate up to 2 weeks to come back down and can create massive amounts of work. I've been doing it for years. My exercise routine is 3 to 5 exercises, 7 at the outside, and I only do it hard once every probably 2 weeks. I'm not the bodybuilder that I was a long time ago, but at 59, I'm still stronger pound for pound than most anybody that's in this gym. And Todd can tell you he's probably doing less exercise now than he ever did before to have the same results. And Todd's an exercise physiology major. I really hand it to Todd because here's a man who can think, he can put ego aside and what he was taught in school, and realize that I've taken the same information, like I've said, correct, and I just index it differently. Would that be a fair?
Yeah, it's a very logical synopsis of that.
And Todd can tell you, he's pretty intense. He's gone through some workouts, and he can tell you that correct exercise doesn't take much, does it? No, the man who taught me, Arthur Jones, who invented the Nautilus, and Jim Flanagan, his assistant, I owe so much of my success and exercise to them because they taught me a very simple statement. He said, you can exercise hard or you can exercise long, but you won't exercise very hard very long. Pretty simple. And you don't have to eat a lot. You have to eat for effect. Remember, exercise isn't a benefit. It's what you put in and what you do. And if anybody has anything special they would like to talk to me about, make an appointment with me, talk to me tomorrow, next day, whatever. I'm always there for you to do what I can. And thanks everybody for coming, and I hope I'll gave everybody something to think about or a different view. All right? Thank you.
Oh,